Hi guys, how are
Oh,
you
hi,
today?
Megan.
Hello,
Nice to
hi.
meet you.
Nice to meet you. Congratulations on a great show.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
I have been a huge Robin Hood fan since the beginning. I have seen basically every iteration that is out there, and you guys have found a way to make this your own and brought a whole new level of storytelling to an iconic character. So take me to the beginning, and how did you put your own stamp
Uh-oh.
on this?
It, I mean, the beginning was, Jonathan, we worked together. Jonathan was over in Belgrade. I was in Los Angeles, and we worked together on another show and decided to kind of team up, and create shows to be shot in Belgrade, frankly. But the beginning was really came out of Jonathan's mind. I mean, he had this sort of really grounded, historically accurate, human kind of view of what a Robin Hood series or a movie could be. And I just really was compelled by it. I was like, well, it's just something I'd never quite heard, because you've seen so many different versions of it, and it's not easy to do a very unique version, a different version. And I just sort of fell in love with what he was talking about, and we just started working on it.
What about for you, Jonathan? How did it start? How did you come up with this idea?
Just through a lot of reading of the period and being a huge fan. I mean, we were both always fans of Robin
Yeah,
Hood as you are as well, Megan. And I think, we always talk about how actually all over the world people are fans of Robin Hood. People love Robin Hood. People know Robin Hood, and it's kind of extraordinary how
it's
all
crazy.
over the world people know who Robin Hood is. And there's kind of no, it's difficult to understand how he's so famous, but he's really part of people's culture and consciousness. And I'd worked in the medieval period before. I've always read a lot. I've always been, it's a sort of thing of passion for me. And so Robin Hood dominates that world really. And I read a lot of when you go back into the earlier literature, there's a lot of literature written about him in the sort of as early as the 13th century. And that earlier literature, ballads and things like this, is much more grounded and sort of human, let's say, and it feels more connected to the history of the period. Um, so out of that came this idea of a more human version, a version more connected to history of the period. 1160, 1170, that's when our story is actually set. And and then John and I just sort of started talking about it and figuring out a very classic
Yeah.
way, a classic origin story where we get to know him before he becomes an outlaw, and we know his family and what happens to the family, and then sort of dealing a lot with the Saxon Norman politics of the period. And you're dealing in that moment in England. It's only 100 years after the Norman invasion of England, and you have the Normans as the upper classes and the Saxons are the underclasses. So you have all of that sort of um, the struggle of Saxon culture, Saxon faith, against Norman religion and Norman taxation and all of these things. And a lot of that, I think, appealed to us, and John really kind of jumped on the idea of, you're dealing with class.
Yeah.
Basically, it's
I love
more than a
class for
story about Saxon and Normans, it's about class, and class is something we all relate to. And he's really an avenger for the common man, the common person, and I mean, he's a sort of Batman of his period in many
Yeah.
ways.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
He's a vigilante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have been told to wrap. You guys answered a lot actually for me in that little time. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for creating this series. I am super excited for everyone to see
It's
it.
great to hear. Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
thank you, Megan.